open till it shatters through the ocean.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, cats and dogs, and other farm animals, this is Rennie, and welcome to episode 16 of Kerbal Space Chronicles. Now, I know it's been a little while, but I wanted to do something a little special. Now that I've hopefully got everything sorted out on the lag at the moon, so hopefully we'll be running a little bit faster when we try to land. We're going to fly to the moon. And I'm actually going to go ahead and turn that audio down because I forgot how loud it gets. Alright. So we're going to go ahead and take this spacecraft to the moon. This is essentially a slightly modified version of the spacecraft I was using for Project Charlotte. This is Project Chicago. And notice that I have these stabilizing fins on the spacecraft to hopefully keep things a little steadier as we build up velocity and as we drop stages. Because remember, we had issues with Charlotte starting to spin out of control. Well, we're going to go ahead and throttle down a little bit here, just to conserve the rocket. And I wanted to go ahead and show you just the whole process of getting out to the moon. Of course, the first step is getting into orbit. Once you get into orbit, you're halfway to anywhere, so the saying goes. That's the main thing of what we're doing right now. We've got the same clustered arrangement, now with proper asparagus staging. I really need to boost those decouplers for future applications, otherwise I'm worried they're going to slam into the spacecraft. We're way behind on the pitch-over maneuver. Just slowly burning through our fuel. Here in a moment, we're actually going to go ahead and throttle up. There's separation. And now we're at barely 1 G of acceleration. We just now passed a thrust-to-weight ratio of 1. There, we're going to have to be very careful with the pitch-over maneuver, but the good news is that we have a lot of fuel in this central stage now. It's actually a pretty long burn. This rocket, this one stage, will burn for almost 3 minutes, plus the over a minute that we've already burned for. So it just becomes a careful balancing act to get into space. Now, this might seem a little bit dull, but I wanted to do something unique to sort of make up for the fact that I haven't really been here. It's been a while since I've done a Kerbal Space Chronicles episode. And we're going to see if we can't take this thing. I think we can, honestly. Because since we're not having to go into a polar orbit, I think we'll be able to take this all the way to the moon, go around the moon, land on the moon. Maybe even complete our contract if we land close to somewhere where there are 2 biomes nearby that we haven't already been in. I'm guessing it's going to tell me that some of the debris has been destroyed. Yep. Okay. We're at about 40 kilometers. And just the pace of this whole orbital insertion, it's almost kind of like a real launch by the time you get down to brass tacks about it. I mean, we're moving in slightly slower than real time, as you can tell by the yellow game clock up there. And this was already similar length to real time as it is. Alrighty, 50 kilometers coming up real quick here. There goes 50 kilometers. I'm going to pull up Ferrum Aerospace here. I think once we drop below a Reynolds force of 10,000, we're going to go ahead and ditch the fairing. We are heading that way. I'm just carefully regulating the time to apoapse. I want to try and get it down a little. Not all that much. We don't want to come up to peak and then have to slowly accelerate into orbit, because that's when we start getting problems with things lighting on fire, which is never good. We're through 60 kilometers now, though. We're starting to pick up a lot of momentum. And it looks like we're still good temperature on the spacecraft. The hottest thing is the engine, as one might expect. The Reynolds force is almost down to 100,000. Passing through Mach 7 just as we're coming up on 70,000. Okay. Starting to creep up in heat a little bit. I think we are just going to go ahead and ditch the fairing at this point. Alrighty, and stage burnout. Now this is the part where we started having flipping problems. I hope those fins on the second stage will hold our attitude, and they do. And something exploded on the last spacecraft. Now we are well on our way into orbit, and in fact, I'm going to go ahead and drop us to the... We have plenty of momentum coming out of this vehicle. And I think we've shot high enough that we're able to manage decently well. That forward service module is starting to take a bit of heat, but not all that much. And we're coming up on orbital velocity. Our periapse is about to come out of the minus 1,000 kilometers. We're trying for an apoapse of 165 is what I like to get to. Looks like we might have to tie in the third stage. Alrighty, we've cleared the atmosphere, dropping to the horizon. And 168. 168.7. Okay, we're going to lose a little bit of that. Accelerating out, I'm going to go prograde just to minimize the deflection of the air. And of course, get ready to deploy the solar panels. Alrighty, we have cleared the atmosphere. Let's deploy. And Science Lair is giving me a burbly there. I guess there's some science we didn't collect. Well, let's transmit that, I guess. Okay, we're not getting very much solar energy in this orientation, because you notice the sun is almost directly above. I wonder if I shut that off. No, we still don't get much out of it. Okay, let's go ahead and go... apoapse maneuver, please. And let's get a maneuver to get us into orbit. Oh, very quick flip. Whoa. That's the thing with the graphical controller. It's very easy to overcook it a little. Just try and circularize it out. If you look down in the bottom left, you'll see I actually have a numerical interface. I almost wonder if that will let me input data. Okay, I think that'll be close enough. Let's go ahead and rig up the maneuver. Go to the node. Maybe that lower angle will get us a little bit better on the solars too. Of course, it probably doesn't help that we have to maintain the reaction wheel and the coolant in both of these tanks. I wonder, liquid hydrogen. I wonder if I pump the liquid hydrogen into the aft tank. That won't allow us to sort of minimize. Yeah, you see. There it goes. Just to make sure we stay balanced, I'm going to pump everything into the back tank. Okay, go ahead and disable cooling on that tank since it's no longer needed. There we go. And now we're just heading out to the node, so I'm going to go ahead and time accelerate. Since we have stable power, as I expected, let's go ahead and drop into 100 for just a moment. Just sort of tap it in there. Okay, drop back to normal speed, please. We're going to get a quick burst out of this engine. And it's just sort of tap it in. Okay, stay prograde. You're fine. 168.6 by 168.2 is not bad. Okay, so about 12 minutes for a launch. That's, well, you know, it's all right. Okay, we're going to go orbital prograde. I'm going to clear that maneuver. Now, there's the moon. So the way to do it with maneuver nodes is get your maneuver set up first. Okay. Right, 1771 now. Let's see if we can't trim that down a little bit. Oops. Gotta stay on the editor. Okay, 1765. Let's see what mechanical Jebrick. I want to see just how close I was on that 1770. You guys have seen me transfer to the moon before. I just want to see here. Wolfman transfer to target. Wow, 1777. Of course, that has us slamming into the moon. I'm going to just sort of use the graphical editor, very carefully tune in our approach. No, I don't want to activate navigation to the desert airfield. 68. Hey, that's within 500,000. Okay, so it's about 1770. Drop back just a little bit because I don't want to come quite so close to the moon. Oh, 6,000. Yeah, no. We would dash ourselves right into the side of a mountain. 21,000 is a bit more. Well, let's go 26. I think that's pretty good. I had a science alert burbly there that I heard, but I'm not sure where that's coming from. Let's go to the node. And of course, this is going to confuse the hell out of the solar panels for a moment. But it seems we've got plenty of solar power coming in. Now, when we time accelerate around, we're going to get the tiniest burp of fuel out of this engine. And we're going to start the node a little early, because it's going to take a little bit for this engine to deploy. And it's going to be a less powerful engine. Most of the transfer is going to be done with this stage. A little bit will have to be done with the lander stage, and the question will be how much fuel we use entering lunar orbit to see if we can actually land this shindig. But we're going to find that out in a little bit. In the meantime, it's just back into time acceleration, coming around the planet. I was surprised that Mechanical Jeb didn't come up with a better... Oh, I'm late. Damn it. I guess we're going to have to go around for another pass. I'm surprised it didn't come up with a better... Okay, I guess we're just going to go for it. But because we lost power, we actually lost a little fuel out of the stage there. And deploy! So we're going to have to fine-tune our trajectory when we get close to the moon. Which is a little bit of an oops on my part, but oh. Either way, that last stage, as well as this one, both use cryogenic engines, which is why I mentioned cooling on these tanks, because they're fueled with liquid hydrogen. The oxidizer is generally alright, but the liquid hydrogen definitely needs cooling. So that was the main energy expenditure when we had fuel in both of those tanks. Notice by pumping it from the forward tank into the aft tank on the second stage, I saved power because I was no longer having to cool that forward tank. And we have a burble out of science alert, so we'll go ahead and pick up a radioplasma wave scan. An extra 1.2 science can't hurt anybody. I know there's not much in the way of scientific instrumentation on this spacecraft. It is just a revised version of Project Charlotte, which was the magnetic survey probe that was also supposed to land, but didn't, because I did not have enough fuel in the spacecraft. But I didn't want to load this up with a bunch of instruments, because the fuel margins from Charlotte were already tight, and I want to make sure I have as much fuel left for the landing as possible. We're going to fire that engine. And I'm going to go ahead and cut the engine out and just slowly tap it in. We're going to go kill rotation. 2, 1, 4, 1, 1, 8, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 116, 61, 37, 21. That will have to do. And I just hope we don't get dashed into a mountain when we get there. So we are now on course for the moon. After a little bit of difficulty, but hey, it works out. We're just going to go ahead and swing out to the moon. We don't have to worry about cooling on this because it's a regular old run-of-the-mill kerosene and oxidizer spacecraft. Okay. We're going to set up the maneuver to circularize at periaps. I want to see the delta V. 552. I have 24. Okay. We should be fine for landing on the moon. Just have to make sure we do it at the right time. It might actually, now I think about it, this might be a good time to do it. Just go right into the landing phase. So let's go ahead and go to the node. Okay, we're behind the moon right now, so no power. Hopefully we don't lose power. Or if we do lose power, let's get it back before. Okay, we got power back, so it's not a... The moon is right next to us. You can basically see the craters coming into view right there. I think we are just going to go straight into the landing once we reach the burn time. I'm going to go ahead and set retro instead of following the node. Actually, I'm going to set surface retro is what we're going to do. And we're just going to burn down. Not liking the look of that mountain right there either way. Looks like we might come just right over the top of it. Oh, jeez. Alrighty, and the burn is going to be in just a few seconds here. Notice we're not getting crippling lag like we were before, but we are still pretty high up. Touch wood, hopefully we'll be fine. But we're going to go directly into the landing phase here. I'm going to go ahead and deploy the gear. Okay, there's the lag. I wonder why we suddenly had the lag kick in. That's weird. It's not texture-based lag either. But either way, I think you guys can remember the first time I landed on the moon, it was like 1 frame per second. This is a heck of a lot better, though it's still not perfect. I'm going to have to try mucking around with some of my settings to see what gives here, but oh well. I'm hoping this crater is a bio. Is the Highland Craters biome. Sort of slam my way to a stop right over it. I don't think I'll be over it by the time I actually slow down, because we're moving at a pretty serious tip right now. We can clear the node, because I just wanted a delta V figure. Now we're on a landing trajectory. We're going to go ahead and go into physical time acceleration, see if that helps me out any. It does a little. It makes things move more quickly. Go to 5 times time acceleration just to go ahead and slam the brakes really quick. Okay, and we're starting to get an impact time, so that's a good sign. Okay, cut the engine, please. Now we're going to go surface retrograde and just go in that way. I'm going to try and use time warp to sort of minimize the agony we're having to deal with. I think I can come back a little ways and get into another body. But we might have to come back out with another spacecraft, and I really need to fix this lag. I'm not sure why it isn't fixed already, and it bugs me. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and drop in for a little bit. And cut. And then we're back to laggy McLagface. Just need it to move relatively quickly here. I'm watching the impact timer and the burn timer. When those are just about synced up, I'm going to light the engine. And then we're just going to burn down. With all this lag, we might have to come back with an... Okay, impact in 5 seconds. Light the engine, please. Throttle down. Sort of ease down onto the moon. It does not take much. Yeah, this is at least better than the last time we stunned. Alright. Just a little bit. Okay. Excuse me. It says we're still 8 minutes from impact. Starting to bring it to the point where it's going to be a touchdown instead of an impact. Ease it down. Oh my gosh, this is tense. I'm gonna go into 2 times time accelerate. Okay. No, I didn't want to cut it off. Give me some thrust, please. Give me some thrust, please. Just a little more than that, please. Not so much. Oh, this is terrible. Come on, give me just a little blurb of thrust. Gonna bounce if we don't get some thrust. Come on. Come on, a little more. Okay. Back. Oh, this is... God! Okay. Up. Up. And just a little bit more. And touch. No, 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 no. Surface up. Thank you. Okay, well. As we destroyed a couple stages. Huh. And my rocket is spinning. Yes, spin, spin. Well, I think we can shut that off. We made it! After more lag than I really wanted. Which annoys me. But we'll still collect a little bit of extra science and complete a little bit more of our mission to land in 3 biomes on the moon. And hopefully by the next time we have to do this, or by the next episode, so we can do it with this spacecraft, I will have the lag fixed. But for now... Okay, so I started mucking around with that lag problem after I got done recording. What I've come up with is there was actually a bug in the version of Copernicus that I was using, and Copernicus is what controls the planets, the extra planets and stuff, but it also modifies stock planets since I have it. But since I've got that fixed, I think I might actually be able to reinstall some of my graphical mods and bring things back up to texture. Because notice, there's no lag anymore, which will help us out a lot in episode 17. So stay tuned for that when it comes out. But for now, for real this time, stay tuned for the outro. Hey everyone, Arinia here. Thanks so much for watching this latest video out of my channel, and thanks so much to these patrons who, among others, are helping make this content possible by donating at least $10 on my Patreon page. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, leave a comment. Tell us what we need to do better. If you liked it, still leave a comment. I'm always open to input. If you like the channel, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and join us on the Discord community, link in the description. If you want to support the channel, and I really hope you do, please, down in the description is a link to the Buy Me a Coffee page, which you can donate to for a one-time donation, or the Patreon page, which you can head on to donate monthly and get perks. In the meantime, this is Arinia saying once again, thanks for watching.